Now, a lot of people like bitch and moan about the season, but as far as I'm concerned, The Mandalorian is still the way. So the biggest complaint most people I've seen online that people had about this season 3, was that it's no longer about mostly Din and Grogu. But really, that was expected when you really think about it, because the show is called The Mandalorian, and we find out in the first season that Din is not the only Mandalorian. Yes, their planet has been destroyed, but they still exist. There's still Mandalorians out there, mostly under Navarro until they have to run away. But the Mandalorian is not just Din. And the season was all about the Mandalorians, plural. We do get some adventures of just Din and Grogu, but ultimately it comes together and it's all of Mandalore, or at least what's left of the Mandalorians. And they aim to take their planet back after it is confirmed that it's not poisonous. You can go to Mandalore, it's just destroyed. The one thing I found very interesting is that when we discover that Mandalore is not poisonous, that you can actually go there, that there is a droid in the mines of Mandalore that captures Din, and he is very, very similar to Grievous. He's ultimately destroyed, so we don't know where exactly he came from, who made him. But the fact that he's very close to Grievous in appearance, it makes me wonder, is there more like him out there? But the big thing we find out is that the Mythosaur, which we've only heard by name, it's a legendary creature of the past of Mandalore. It's long been dead. It's not dead. There is one alive in the living waters of Mandalore. And that's pretty fucking cool. We also get to see a little bit of Grogu's past, and that he was there when the clones betrayed the Jedi. And he was saved by a Jedi, played by Ahmed Best, who is best known as Jar Jar Binks. We won't speak of Jar Jar Binks, but it's nice to see Disney kind of give this actor a chance to redeem himself after the ridiculousness that was Jar Jar Binks. We also have cameos all over the place from the likes of Jack Black, Christopher Lloyd, Lizzo, and the Christopher Lloyd one's kind of fun because immediately afterwards a theory pops up online that Doc Brown at the end of Back to the Future Part 3 traveled a bit too far into the future and he wound up in a galaxy far, far away. So that's a fun little thing. But we also have characters who are back, and at this point, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're a Mandalorian fan, you've already watched the finale, you know. So Giancarlo Esposito is back as Moff Gideon, which was fucking cool. His final battle with Din as well as Bo-Katan was cool, and Grogu just being awesome. But we also have Mercedes Bernardo back, aka Sasha Banks. She's back as her Mandalorian character, and she actually gets to say a few lines this time, so that was awesome. And I will say one of my favorite parts about this season is Grogu getting the fucking pilot, IG-11, and there being a yes-no button, and him just constantly pressing it. It's both adorable and hysterical at the same time. And speaking of Grogu, he, of course, was the best, because he's fucking Grogu. He's Baby Yoda. He's the child. Whatever you really want to call him. His name's Grogu. People still call him Baby Yoda. Whatever. But whether he's snuggling up to Din when he's afraid, not so much towards the end of the season, he kind of becomes a badass at the end of the season, or he's using the Force to get candy, or he's training to become a Mandalorian, which was fucking cool, or he's using the Force. We see him use the Force big time, a little bit as during the beginning of the season, and then a whole hell of a lot towards the end. And it's just awesome to see him using it and knowing that he's currently training to become a Mandalorian, and he's going to be a fucking Mandalorian with the Force. There's also one episode where it's pirates versus Mandalorians, which is really awesome. The battle scenes, and it also features a squadron from the New Republic, which was no doubt set up for the Rogue Squadron show they were going to do, which ultimately canceled, so it's not happening anymore. So now that part's kind of thrown away, which is a little disappointment. But during that episode, we had an awesome cameo from fucking Rebels in Zeb. So that was cool. I'm kind of hoping we get more Zeb in the Ahsoka show, seeing as we're getting quite a few Rebels characters in the show. Ultimately, was this season of The Mandalorian as good as seasons 1 and 2? I don't think so. Season 1, still, without a doubt, the best thing Star Wars has done in years. Season 2, also fantastic. This one, I did still enjoy it. It is still the way, but I think it's a step down. A lot of lore was introduced. It was added on to. We got to see a whole lot of things like the Mythosaur. We learned about the Mandalore. There's awesome battle scenes. Pedro Pascal is amazing. Katie Sackhoff is amazing. The cameos we got were fucking awesome, though kind of random, to be honest, because they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, I mean, I understand that, because who doesn't want to be a part of the Star Wars universe? But at the same time, it's like, we don't need names like Jack Black to sell this to us. Like, I love Jack Black. I'm a huge Jack Black fan, but I don't need him to sell Star Wars to me. So a lot of cool things happened this season. A lot of things that maybe a little head scratching. There were a few moments that definitely dragged. But again, I do think this is still an overall good season. I give The Mandalorian season 3, I give it a B+.
Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.